Hey guys, welcome back. All this year I am taking place in the Pop Sugar 2016 Reading Challenge. I thought that this would be a really good way to keep me motivated, and if I ever was having a hard time figuring out what book to read, I have a whole list of 38 categories that these books need to fit into. That is helping me out a lot so far. And since it is April, I wanted to do a quick check-in of the first quarter of the year. This will be talking about the books that I've completed for this reading challenge from the months January through March. So let's get started. The Pop Sugar 2016 Reading Challenge consists of 38 different challenges, such as read a book based on a fairy tale, read a poetry book, read a book written by a celebrity. So far, I think I'm doing pretty well. Between January and March, I've read 5 of those 38 books, so I'm definitely well on my way to finishing this challenge. It's surprisingly easy to fit books that I'm reading during the month into the different categories. I'm not specifically finding books that fit the challenges. I'm simply using the books that I'm reading as normal and seeing how they can fit into the challenges. The first challenge on the list that I completed was to read a book by someone you just met, and for this I read An Anatomy of Wings by Karen Foxley. I read this during February, and it was lent to me by a girl that I've kind of known in the theater department. She's a sweetheart. It was one of her favorite books. I lent her I'll Give You the Sun, and from what I've heard, she really enjoyed that. Next, I read a book with blue on the cover, and that was What We Saw by Erin Hertzler. I did a non-spoiler review and a spoiler book talk on this book, and I'll leave both of those linked above and below somewhere in this video. You can find those videos. Next, I did read a book from the library, and it was Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder. Obviously, this isn't the library copy because I loved this one so much that I bought it, and I did a review of this as well. You guys know that I'm always raving about this series. I need to read Magic Study, but yes, I loved Poison Study so much. I also read an autobiography, and that was A Stolen Life by J.C. Lee Dugard. I talked about this book a little bit. Basically, if you don't know who J.C. Lee Dugard is, she was abducted on her way walking to school when she was 11 years old and held captive for 18 years. And this book chronicled her experience being held captive and how she survived. The last challenge I've completed so far is reading a book about a road trip. I read Lost and Found by Brooke Davis. This is about a little girl who is abandoned by her mother at a department store. She meets an elderly woman and gentleman, and they go on a journey with her to help her find her mother. I didn't particularly care for this book. I thought it was really flat. I was expecting it to be whimsical and quirky and fun and funny, but the characters fell a little flat. The story wasn't that interesting, and it ended up being a little boring. And those are the books I've read so far for this reading challenge. My favorite book that I read this quarter was definitely Poison Study, and my least favorite was unfortunately An Anatomy of Wings by Karen Foxley. Also, a quick check-in for my Goodreads goal. This year I wanted to set a Goodreads goal of reading 100 books, but I wasn't sure I'd be able to do it because that means that I would have to read 2 books a week, and I wasn't sure if I would be able to do that. So I lowered my goal to 60 books. As of March, I have read 12 books out of that 60, so I know that I'm well on my way to not only completing that goal, but possibly surpassing it, and that makes me really happy. Are any of you guys participating in a reading challenge throughout the year, or do you guys just prefer setting Goodreads goals? And if you do have a Goodreads reading goal for the year, what is your book goal and how are you doing on it? I'd like to know, so let me know down below in the comments so that we can support each other and cheer each other on towards completing our goals. In 3 months, I'll do another check-in, an updated look on how I'm doing as of then. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!